One. Hey guys, welcome back to the Nets, the home of unbiased views. This is a channel where we talk about football and cricket. Football now that the Euros are in full swing. Uh, with me is Elroy. But before we go anywhere, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're coming in for the first time. If you have watched us before and you like the content or you dislike something about it, please do let us know as well. We're trying hard to make sure that we give the best kind of information to you guys. So with that being said, hey Elroy, welcome back.
Hey, hey, Kayur. Yeah,
A Euro of surprises. How
yeah,
have you been able to see this Euros and what is your take on this so far?
yeah. So I think the last time that we caught up and we spoke about the Euros, one of the things that I mentioned was that I was very disappointed with the Euros, primarily because of the, four of the best third place teams would get in. So that kind of took that excitement away from the group stage because the competitiveness took a hit because even if teams didn't play well, they still ended up going through. So yeah, but then we come into the knockout stage, and the knockout stage didn't disappoint at all. Like every game, like most of these games were like really really close and very interesting games. So yeah, this is what you want in the end of the day, like entertaining football or like at least interesting matches.
Absolutely. Surprises, France getting knocked out. That was
Oh,
a big
bigger surprise.
surprise. And I think that was the
Yes.
best game so far. Switzerland
Yeah.
coming, missing a penalty, then France scoring
Yeah.
twice, then the third time, and Pogba's goal was amazing. It was absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant. I'm so glad he
Yeah.
doesn't play like that when he plays for United.
For, yeah.
But then Switzerland coming back, and sadly, Xhaka doesn't play the way he did when he
He
plays for us.
did.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
that evens things out.
Yeah.
But that was a brilliant game. So
True.
before we jump on to Euros, let's talk about super quick about the transfer market with Arsenal. So
Yeah.
as it stands right now, the latest rumor mill is Lokonga and Nuno Tavares could be part of Arsenal sometime as soon as this week. What
Yes.
is your take about both those players?
Yeah, so Lokonga has been a deal in the pipeline for quite a while, for the last couple of weeks. So, the only issue stopping the clubs were the fee, and like Anderlecht wanted, I think, somewhere around 20 million, and Arsenal's first bid was like some 13 million. But I think finally they seem to have reached an agreement, is what the rumor is. So I don't know what the rumored fee is, around 15 to 16 million plus add-ons, which will rise up to a certain amount. And see, to be honest, Lokonga seems to be a very smart deal. Like when you watch Arsenal, they have off late. We've not had these smart deals, but this does look like a very promising deal. Obviously, no, I've not watched him a lot apart from the YouTube compilations that most of us would have probably done. But then a lot of Belgium football experts have been talking about him, or the data as well has been in his favor. He seems like a very smart buy, a very interesting central midfielder. And considering that we have lost Ceballos and we are going to let go of Guendouzi, I think he's a perfect replacement as a third or fourth choice central midfielder. He's obviously not going to be the first choice. I mean, like not the one who's going to start game in game out. He's one for the future mainly, but he seems to be a good move to have. It's like maybe if your main player is injured, you add him. He will get in some games. So the same way how Guendouzi was used in his first season, I expect him to have like a similar impact. And as a player, from what we gather, he's a good he's very good on the ball. He's a good progressor of the ball and good progressive passes as well. And as you know, our team does lack that a lot. So yeah, some positive. It's a positive and interesting move from Arsenal for sure.
So you said something really interesting there. You mentioned something like he may not be a starter. Considering we are
Yeah.
losing a starter, we need a starter. We are losing Xhaka,
Uh,
who is like, if Xhaka is fit, Xhaka starts.
yeah.
We are
No,
losing a
I think.
starter.
Yeah, that is for sure. But I think the club will definitely buy a replacement for Xhaka. If Xhaka leaves, which obviously seems to be the thing that is going to happen, I think the club will definitely buy a replacement. So that's why I say that Lokonga will not be of like the main starter, because the club will definitely go for another midfielder. Because I don't see the club losing out on one very high profile central midfielder and not replacing him. That would be very odd, and I think that should mainly be like a priority. So I think we will sign a replacement for Xhaka, a player of maybe of a higher caliber or a first team choice. Maybe there are no proper links right now, but maybe that is the reason why it's happening. It must be kept under the wraps, and we are just waiting for the Xhaka deal to go through, and then we'll make a move.
So, I mean, we always say that we will have a quick talk, a touch base of Arsenal, but it's never quick when it comes to Arsenal
Yeah.
because now what does it give you as a signal for somebody like Joe Willock? Are we definitely closing doors on somebody like Joe Willock who has been so promising when he has played for Newcastle? And then there are these others as well who are coming through. But even before, let's not talk about our midfielders. My biggest concern still is around how we have been having a better defensive record than an offensive record, and yet we are making investments which are defensive. Nuno Tavares, for instance, another left back, and he's going to not start because Kieran Tierney is
Yeah.
our first go-to.
Yeah.
What does
So I think that
that mean?
is, look, see, we obviously have two options when it comes to that. Look, one thing is we needed a backup left back very badly because everybody knows that Tierney has some injury concerns as always. And last season, when he got injured, is when our season did crumble. His unavailability in the Europa League semi-final, or even those last couple of games in the league where we could have pushed for a higher position in the league and we dropped points. Where Arteta played Xhaka. Now, many people say that maybe Arteta should play the likes of Saka as a left wing back or a left back, which makes sense. But I, by the looks of it, Arteta doesn't want that. He sees Saka as a part of the front three, and maybe that is one of the reasons he doesn't want him, and that's fair enough. So then again, the club has to go for a left back because at right, if you see the right back side, we have a couple of right backs. Like right now, we have three on our books. Left hand side, we just have one because Kolasinac is leaving, and Kolasinac is just really poor. He's poor on the ball, poor defensively. Yeah. So now what we need is just a left back to cover for Tierney. So what option do we have? We either go for someone on who's on 29, 30 plus, or we get someone younger to deputize for Tierney. So I think the club decided not to go for the older option because we did that for the right back couple of seasons ago when we brought Lichtsteiner to provide competition for Bellerin. That didn't work out well. Then we brought Cedric in, who has not as a right back, experienced competition, who's had a very very wavy situation, and in fact I would say more of not a great impact. So maybe that's what the club are looking for. The rumor was that they wanted someone on the left back side, and obviously where they didn't have to spend a lot. So for Nuno Tavares, sorry, the rumored deal is supposed to be around 6.7 million, which is fair enough. Like, for a backup left back, you're getting someone for that range. Like, I won't complain because we do need that because we cannot depend on Tierney throughout. So that I'm absolutely okay with. It's a deal that is needed. And probably Arsenal have gone to do that because it's an easy deal and might as well get it completed now rather than waiting later on. Because see, there is another aspect to it. Look, now if Arsenal want to buy another central midfielder, or they want to buy Ben White, or they want to buy, say, maybe, okay, mainly or a central attacking midfielder. The thing is, if Arsenal go quite public and make say it out loud that look, we are after Ben White, we are spending 50 million. It automatically says that okay, we have 50 million. So when another team is trying to buy our players, like say for instance, say like for instance the rumor of say Ruben Neves. Okay, let's not talk about Ben White. Say the rumor for Ruben Neves. Uh, if we are going to spend 35 million on Ruben Neves, Roma will automatically say that, look, wait a minute, you have money, so we are not going to, pay you the amount of money that you want. Or Marseille will say that you do have the money, we are not going to pay you the amount that you're asking for Guendouzi. So it's mainly just a negotiation tactic. So I do feel that these moves will take place. It will just that it will take place after some time and when certain outgoings take place and certain other factors. But yeah, as you said, your concern being, I think the defensive part, it's like, yeah, everyone is concerned about Ben White. Like, we are spending so much on a center back. The one of the thing is that, okay, leaving aside the rate, he's a good defender, no doubt. But I still feel that there will be money available for the rest of the position. So right now, I am not worried about that. I think it's okay. Getting another center back could work out. It doesn't work out in
All right.
Saliba's favor, but yeah, we can figure that. We'll get
So
to know that in a couple.
it might be curtains for Rob Holding, but let's move on to England and Euros and the big massive surprise that
Yeah.
we had yesterday, where England defeated Germany, and
Oh
it was
yes,
one of those games. I mean, I was as surprised as I was when France lost. Now,
yes,
I'm someone who's been following German football really close, and I do feel that this is a German team that probably might be the weakest we have seen in ages, and
true.
it's not normal for German teams to be weak, especially in big
Yeah,
competitions.
yeah,
So, but changes they have made changes in the upcoming days. They already came in with the intent that Yogi Low will be replaced after this game,
yeah.
and considering the World Cup is next year, where do you see this Germany team going from here?
I don't think it will be much. See, Germany do have talent in them, and they're getting Hansi Flick, who's a good coach, and I think this role will definitely suit him, and he will be the man to revitalize this current German team for sure. If anybody, I feel that he'll do a good job with them, and he'll definitely make them competitive again. See, one of the reasons is that Germany had a very young team compared to the previous years where they were dominating when they won the World Cup or even. But then there were a lot of issues in this. The German team, there are a lot of off-field. I wouldn't say major issues like for instance how France would have or something like that. But you know, every the football is cyclical. A team or a club or a national team will always go through a phase that is low, and they'll rebuild, they'll come back in a couple of years time. Like see Spain for instance, how they were dominant from 2008 to 2012, and then they went down. Now they've not come back yet. Or maybe Germany were dominant in 2014. So it's cyclical. So right now Germany, last two major tournaments, Germany have had quite a poor tournament in the World Cup as well as this one. But maybe this is what they needed. Hansi Flick should be the guy who will take them further because the talent is there. They have some good players with really quality players, especially in attack. And yeah, I think it will. Maybe World Cup might be a bit too soon, but yeah, I can't say. Let's see what Flick does. But I think he will be the man, at least on the long term, to get this German team back again on top.
So moving from them, the current favorites from what we have in the lot. Now I know that England and the hopes of England going further and further in this competition have suddenly sprung up.
Yeah,
People talking about 6 or 7 games that will be played in Wembley, and England have managed to do that. And suddenly there is that growing belief in the people in England that England will go all the way. What do you think of the amazing eight that are left now in the Euros? Where do you see? Who do you think is the current favorites if you go by what we have?
for me, the favorites are still Italy. I mean, they are quite the team. I mean, they're my personal favorite. So right now, if you see the top teams that we have are Italy, Belgium, uh, England, and Spain. If you see amongst the eight, these are the four who you can say are like the natural names that will come up to you saying that okay, these are the favorite. So and in see amongst Belgium and Italy, one of them is going to go out soon. Spain are not up to the mark, so it can. For me, it's like England have really got a good because the next game that they play is against Ukraine.
Ukraine. Mhm.
And I see England winning that one, unless of course England does some typical England things. But I think they will see that through. And then next match would be the winner of if they get through that and they go to the semis, they would be playing the likes of Switzerland or Spain. Which again, as I said, Spain might have got a couple of good games, but there are a lot of weakness. There is a weakness in them which can be exploited. And you know, England for now have been defensively really solid, and tactically they could even defeat them. And then it's all in the final, which is so England for me have a good chance as well. My personal favorites is obviously Italy, and they have the toughest match right now with Belgium. I think they will go through against Belgium, but this is a tournament very difficult to predict. But yeah, I just feel that Italy have that slight edge.
Just the experience that the Italians can bring in. That would be,
Yeah,
that would see them go through. And again, Belgium and Italy is one of those games that if historically, if Italy scores first, it's hard to break
yeah,
them down.
it's hard to
That
break.
has been
Yes,
their
true.
trend.
Yes,
And again, it's one of those games where Belgium and Italy, I feel that the team that scores first will eventually end up winning the game. That's just a feeling. And Belgium has pretty decent force up front. They have Lukaku, they have Hazard, they have
yeah,
uh they just have the firepower to go forward. So it will be an interesting game.
Yeah.
Ukraine, England, again, I think England are hands down favorites.
Yeah,
No
I
one's
think yeah.
talking about Czech Republic and Denmark. That's again two teams
Oh,
that have been there sheer on the willpower and the determination of wanting to win games and see them through. No one's talking about these two teams.
true. Yeah.
Do you think anything special might just see something special from one of these two teams?
Uh, I mean, it's possible because Denmark seemed to be motivated, and I don't think anyone saw them like defeating Wales. What did they defeat them? 4-0 or 5-0? 4-0, I guess. So it was, quite a dominant display. Yes, they have one of their main playmakers in the form of Ericsson who cannot play, but still they seem to be a very motivated team. And I don't think they would, you know, they've got Czech Republic. I think Denmark can get the better out of them, and next thing you know, they're in the semifinals. So yeah, and in the semis they would play the likes of Italy or Belgium. So that would be something very, very tough for them. But it's good to see them. They'll definitely make it to the semis. Is my take.
Sounds good. And then again, Switzerland, Jaka rejuvenated, and I have never liked that player ever, but he played
Yeah,
brilliantly against.
yeah,
He was a difference maker. Let's be honest. He was a difference
yeah.
maker against France. And
Yes.
again, Spain not up to the mark, so you can see a surprise happening there. Maybe Switzerland,
Yeah, yeah,
Spain.
it's highly possible. It's definitely possible in my opinion. And yeah, to be honest, when Switzerland started their journey and they played their first two games, you thought that okay, maybe the Switzerland team is a bit flattened out as compared to the Switzerland of the World Cup 2018, where although they didn't go that far, they played Brazil, they drew with them, and they had some good performances. So after the first two games, they drew with Wales. They lost against pretty badly against Italy. You thought that okay, that's curtains for Switzerland, but no, they seem to have fought their way back. And when you defeat the world champions and a squad that you feel is very difficult to pinpoint a weak player, that's a quite a feat by Switzerland, and hats off to them for that game and that result.
Absolutely. And yeah, you hit it on the head with players start believing once you beat the somebody like World Cup winners, you
Yeah,
start getting that self belief that yeah, we can do it. We can actually go all the way
true.
now. That
Yeah,
exactly what happened with the Indian squad in 1983 when they played West Indies in the finals. But let's not talk
uh,
about cricket at
yeah,
this time. I feel that similar kind of a belief might start with England and Ukraine. England, who had never gotten past Germany when they came across Germany in quarterfinals and up, are suddenly getting that feeling that wait a minute, we just beat Germany. We just did something
yeah,
that was not expected of us. The
yeah.
next game we have is Ukraine. After that, we
Exactly.
have
Yeah,
Switzerland or Spain. If
yeah.
you do that, surprises can happen. And
True.
all of a sudden, England does have the squad. If you notice, England does have the squad to go all the way.
Yeah.
Only England can bring down England from this stage, I
Exactly.
feel.
That's what I said. It's unless England does England things, then that's the only thing.
Um, Harry Kane got his first goal yesterday. So again, I think that is one of the player who feeds off confidence. And it might so happen that suddenly, he can start playing for England the
Yeah.
way he plays for Tottenham.
Yeah. Speaking of Harry Kane, so yesterday he did get a goal, but overall he had a very, very poor game. Like very poor game. How that goal helps in his confidence, that remains to be seen. But overall, he had a very poor game, and I was actually surprised that he was not taken off by Southgate. He remained on the pitch, but then maybe that is the kind of player he is. Sometimes some of the best players in the world have a very poor game, but that one moment is all they need, and that one moment could bring them back in form. But yeah, it was a very poor game. But then at the end, but the main person who people are hardly, I mean, people are talking about him, but not much, is Raheem Sterling. He was the man of the match for England, as per me. I mean, defensively, yes, they did a lot. The defense did their job. Like Maguire won the man of the match, but Sterling for me was the one who was creating all sorts of problems for the German defense. And like he's England's. He scored what 3 in 4 games right now. So hats off to him as well.
So, and on that note, let's briefly talk about how Sterling is currently being linked to Arsenal. Do you
I
see
don't think
those
so.
things going anywhere?
No, no, no. I don't think so. I think see with Sterling's look, there are certain type of players who will, although Arsenal is still a big brand, there are certain kind of players, especially from within the Premier League, and if they are at like a top six club, I don't think they will move out of a place where they're not getting European football. They wouldn't move out right now. Everybody wants that Champions League, or that, maybe if not, maybe even Europa League. But if you're playing in the Premier League and you're playing for a Champions League club, that is what they want. Nobody's going to downgrade so easily. So I don't see that happening. And see, we are either way. Like, let's talk about Ben White itself. We are paying 50 million. It's quite a high sum for, and the reason it's such a high sum is purely because he's an English player. So the same will apply for Sterling as well. The English premium is going to come into him, and I don't see Arsenal paying that kind of money to get him.
And the other player was Riyad Mahrez. So I don't know if you're keeping track about the friendlies, but Algeria just beat somebody 5-0, and Riyad Mahrez was
Oh,
instrumental in that. So,
okay.
well, on that note, let's
Yeah.
just keep our fingers crossed and hope it's the Euros are as exciting as it has been in the knockout stages. Right from if right from the initial get go where it was absolutely a fizzle, it was not at all doing it wasn't really giving you that fun thing of Euros. Suddenly it has picked up now,
Yeah.
and I hope
True. True.
the next stages carry on that way. And
Yeah.
let's just hope the best team wins.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Alroy. Thank you so much for joining me. And
Yeah.
if you guys are watching us for the first time, I again say please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you have come this far. Our Twitter handles are down on the bottom. We are absolutely and extremely active on Twitter. So hit us up if you have any comments for us. Follow us, give us a shout out, and it will mean a lot. And on that note, stay healthy, stay safe wherever you are. And thank you for watching us this far.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Alroy.
Thanks, here.